All right, so Ann Coulter is viciously attacked Donald Trump. Fun for everybody. All right, so there are disturbing parts of this. Number one, most importantly, I partly agree with Ann Coulter, so I'm already deeply disturbed. And second disturbing part of this that we find, I'm going to read you a bunch of her tweets and you'll see the revelations for yourselves. But the second disturbing part is that it turns out she might not be a total actor. She might actually mean this stuff. So now, of course, the background on this is Ann Coulter, deeply right-wing, loves Donald Trump for being the hateful guy that he is, loved him as a candidate, loved the idea of building the wall, one of the most anti-immigrant people in the country. So she, was all in on Trump. In fact, she wrote a book called In Trump We Trust. Don't worry, no coronavirus. So now she's turned on him. Why is she turned on him? Well, a couple of reasons, mainly because he didn't deliver on his promises. She thought he should have been more vicious to immigrants. So just keep that in mind. It's not like Ann Coulter, just because she disagrees with Trump or attacks Trump doesn't mean she's right. So there are parts she's right about, parts she's terribly wrong about. But now the nexus of this particular fight is she loves Jeff Sessions because Jeff Sessions is even worse to immigrants than Donald Trump is. And of course, Sessions used to be a senator from Alabama, was the first senator to back Donald Trump, was incredibly loyal to him. Trump made him his attorney general, and then Sessions recused himself from the Russia case, and then a special prosecutor was appointed, and Trump then never forgave him for that. He thought as attorney general, you're not supposed to represent the people of America. You're supposed to only represent Donald Trump and protect his criminal ass from any illegal actions he might have taken. Of course, that's wrong. The Attorney General is the Attorney General of the United States and represents you guys and not supposed to be the president, but Trump has never understood that simple concept. So, with that background, Sessions decides he's going to run for the Senate again in Alabama, and then he's in a Republican primary. They're down to the final two, him versus Tommy Tuberville. Trump decides he's going to weigh in because he can't help himself, even though Sessions is literally one of the most conservative people in the country. He's like, he was disloyal to me. I'm disappointed in my attorney general. So he's been railing against Sessions in this race. Sessions was totally unmanned by him. We've covered this in the past. And, he'd be like, oh, even the Donald Trump is telling me I'm terrible. I kind of like him. Oh, please, vote for me. But finally, he gathered up whatever little testicles he had left, I'm keeping it real, and said something mildly critical of Trump because Trump's hitting him over and over again in the face. So then Trump goes ballistic. He's like, oh, my God, he's terrible. Don't vote for him. He's an embarrassment. I don't want to get into all the different tweets they did because this is the point Ann Coulter gets into the story. So she writes, first tweet here, 3 years ago, a complete moron of a president told NBC's Lester Holt, quote, I was going to fire Comey. When I decided to just do it, I said to myself, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story. And then she writes, bam, special prosecutor. Now that part, for the first time in her life, she's exactly right. And that's literally what happened. That is a literal quote. He went on national TV and said, I fired the head of the FBI because he was looking into investigating my connection to Russia. Well, that's the most illegal thing you could do. I can't believe the Democrats couldn't get that to stick. The Democrats didn't even try. They only tried on Ukraine when he went after their beloved Joe Biden. God, the Democrats are so incompetent. Even Ann Coulter could boil it down to a tweet. It's so easy, such an easy case to make. Anyway, so she's right about that. Let's keep going. Then the next tweet, she says, the most disloyal actual retard that has ever set foot in the Oval Office is trying to lose and take the Senate with him. Another Roy Moore fiasco so he can blame someone else for his own mess. Now, Roy Moore, big figure in Alabama, ran for senator last time, won the primary with Trump's backing, and then lost to Doug Jones in the general election. So the Republicans lost a Senate seat in Alabama, okay? So she's saying you're going to create a mess like that again. It was your fault. Roy Moore is, of course, totally toxic. Roy Moore is so toxic, Ann Coulter thinks he's toxic, okay? Trump backed him anyway. It was a stupid move, and it didn't work. Now, she uses the R word. I know you're not supposed to use that word. I'm quoting her saying it. So partly as a reminder to tell you guys, remember, she's not at all a good person here. Her main source of anger here is that Trump has not attacked immigrants enough, and that's part of why he's so stupid. Okay, so, but the politics and the Russia stuff, she's factually correct. Donald Trump did blow the Roy Moore election in Alabama. He was incredibly stupid about that. He did say those things on national TV. Okay, so let's go to tweet 3. Ann Coulter says, Trump didn't build a wall and never had any intention of doing so. The one person in the Trump administration who did anything about immigration was Jeff Sessions, and this lout attacks him. So again, here's the point where Ann Coulter is saying, no, don't get me wrong. I want the wall built. I hate immigrants. Sessions hates immigrants more than Trump does. Trump is just doing it for politics, whereas Sessions actually hates immigrants like I do. So Sessions, in terms of who is conservative, is more conservative than Donald Trump. And that's part of why Ann Coulter's mad. That's part of why I say, oh, maybe this wasn't a complete grift by Ann Coulter the whole time. Because if you were just grifting, 90% of Republicans are still backing Donald Trump. Those are the people who buy your books and pay for your speeches. You know, you might want to go along with Trump, and Sessions doesn't have a lot of power here, and he could easily lose in the primary with Trump backing Tuberville. So this is not necessarily what a grifter would do. And so we were all convinced that Coulter was just an actress and a grifter. But maybe not. Maybe she really does hate brown people and hates them so much that's part of why she's livid with Trump here. So there are no winners here, okay? But the part she makes about Comey, that's just so true. And we're going to get back to that in a second. But here she's saying basically, I can't stand that Trump couldn't even get the wall built, and we still have these brown-looking immigrants coming in. She did not say brown-looking immigrants. She has complained about the browning of the nation before. So as I'm paraphrasing her, it is a reference to her earlier words, okay? This is the strangest of all the tweets. Ann Coulter says, COVID gave Trump a chance to be a decent, compassionate human being, or pretending to be, but he couldn't even do that. Now, that's another twist. There's a lot of plot twists here, right? So why would Ann Coulter care about being decent? I would have thought that during coronavirus, she would have thought that this would be a good opportunity to crush people further and to build a wall higher and to attack brown people more. But she's concerned that Trump wasn't decent or compassionate during coronavirus. That's off-brand. Okay, so there's fascinating fights here. Now, look, let me get to the most important part before I do the last couple of tweets where she attacks him even more. Guys, the most important part is Trump's poll numbers are now so bad that the Republican coalition that was sticking together through thick and thin, through everything, is now beginning to splinter and maybe even eventually disintegrate. So you got senators, Susan Collins, Cory Gardner, etc., who are now openly disagreeing with Donald Trump. They're in the middle of tough elections. They're pretending, we all know that, if they win and Trump wins, they'll go back to kissing his ass and doing everything he wants. But right now, their sense is, oh my God, this guy is so unpopular, I'm going to lose my Senate seat because of him. And Coulter refers to that several times. She doesn't want the Republicans to lose power. She's now afraid that Trump is not the answer. He's the problem. Exactly. So, but when the Republicans turn on Trump, now we're in the ballgame because Democrats suck at fighting him. They're the worst at fighting him. But if the Republicans start to fight him, that could do damage. We saw it in the ads. Lincoln Project is a Republican group that doesn't like Trump. They're doing ads that are 10 times, 100 times tougher than Democrats, right? So, God, Democrats, man, if you could just pause from attacking progressives so viciously to maybe use 10% of that bile against Republicans and against Trump, you might actually beat him. Anyway, let's keep going here. Last couple of tweets. Coulter says, the media is salivating over the former football coach Tommy Tuberville, choice of the most disloyal human God ever created, Donald Trump. Wow. Okay, so there's one more plot twist here. And Coulter probably also a little bitter that Trump does not have her in his inner circle now. The reference of disloyalty is about Sessions, because Sessions was the first senator to back Trump, and then he's been terrible to him ever since. But it could also be a little bitter man, where Ann Coulter is also talking about how he has not been loyal to her. So there could be a little bit of feelings that were caught earlier that are not being released, okay? By the way, as I'm seeing all your comments or a lot of your comments as I'm doing the video, for everyone who's a Young Turks member, and I see you with the badges, and for everyone who's sending in YouTube super chats, deeply appreciate it. Thank you for making that happen. Of course, if you want to help Young Turks even more, tyt.com/go. That's our audience funding campaign. We definitely needed Ralph V. Thank you for being a member. All right, let me keep going. She says, great work in the last Alabama Senate race, Mr. President. Keep it up and we'll have 0 Republican senators. The next Republican president will be elected in the year 4820. Okay. Workers Unite has a TYT badge. That's true. So does Will Marchesi. Okay, but let me finish up this video. You guys are awesome. So she's worried about losing the Senate. Look, the Trump campaign is in a panic. That's why he thought about not only firing his own campaign manager, but suing his own campaign manager. Okay? So now here comes Ann Coulter saying, oh my God, we're going to lose the Senate. We're not going to be able to build a wall. We're not going to be able to keep out brown people. We're going to lose the Senate. They see the poll numbers. And I told you guys, Trump is an extraordinarily weak candidate. All you got to just tip him over a little bit. Just nudge him over and he's going to fall down. Extraordinarily weak. I told you last time that he had a much better chance of winning than people realized. And unfortunately, I was right about that. This time around, I'm telling you, he has a much greater chance of losing than anyone realizes. All right. Coulter then says, Sessions had to recuse himself, you complete blithering idiot. You did not have to go on Lester Holt's show and announce you fired Comey over the Russian investigation. That's what got you a special prosecutor. 100% right. That is what got him the special prosecutor when he announced on national TV that he fired the FBI director so he wouldn't investigate him. How stupid do you have to be? But it's one thing for me to point out how stupid he is. It's another thing for Ann Coulter, who a lot of the right wing really do believe in. So now they're going to have some cognitive dissonance. Wait a minute. Is Ann Coulter right when she calls someone the R word, when she calls him a blithering idiot? Or is my beloved Orange Man right? Ooh, I don't know how they're going to resolve that. Computer malfunctioning. Love Ann Coulter. I love that she hates immigrants. Also love Donald Trump. Cannot compute. So that is what's happening in right-wing America today. On the facts, here Coulter is inarguably correct. It wasn't Sessions. It was the fact that Trump admitted to a crime on national television that led to the special prosecutor. And she's also inarguably correct that Trump is a, quote, complete blithering idiot. And last tweet here. So she says, I will never apologize for supporting the issues that candidate Trump advocated, but I am deeply sorry for thinking that this shallow and broken man would show even some remote fealty to the promises that got him elected. Now, look, I hate those promises, so I'm glad he didn't deliver on any of them. He didn't, and this is why sometimes people get frustrated with the corporate Democrats. Sometimes they do the bidding of the donors and way more efficiently than a blithering idiot like Donald Trump. They do it with more subtlety. The media goes along with it, etc. And so there's the corporate angle, there's the donor angle, and then there's the, racial and cultural war angle. And on the cultural wars, Coulter's mad that Trump was so stupid he couldn't do it right. But for her to call him a shallow and broken man, them's fighting words. So I'm curious to see if Trump's going to fight back here. But we got a beautiful mess on the Republican side. And she's also, again, correct. Not just in calling him a shallow and broken man, which he clearly is, but that is the correct way to get under his skin and to point out to people how weak he is. Because his number one defining trait is his weakness. That's why he's so insecure. That's where you attack. That's where you bring him down so that people understand what he's actually about. That hurts him politically with the independents. We need to vote for us instead of him. Coulter at least has enough political sense to understand that, even if Democrats don't. So it's a topsy-turvy world, but here we got a massive fight between two vicious Republicans, Ann Coulter and Donald Trump. So now we're having fun. Okay, I had to bring this to you on the weekend as it was happening. Support Young Turks, tyt.com/go. And of course, you can be a member right here on YouTube by hitting the join button right below the video. Love you guys. See you soon.